Hello everyone, this is John here with StockCents.blogspot.com, bringing you an update on the broad market as well as some of the positions we had been watching. Today is Friday, February 5th. The market's closed, and I want to go over where we ended the week. You can see right here that we had an interesting day. We had quite a bit of a sell-off during the morning and the afternoon, but then right towards the close, buyers came back in and brought the market all the way back up. And that's kind of indicated by this long wick on this candle chart right here. And the way I like to look at this, we'll zoom into a shorter time frame here, is basically we can see that we sold off today, but then as price got lower and lower, a lot of the participants in the market saw that this was just really cheap, and we had a lot of buyers. And we had a lot of buyers on heavy volume. Going back to a daily chart, you can see that we had quite a bit of volume, quite a bit of participants participating in this close up. So this is kind of interesting to see. It's a little bit supportive of the idea that maybe we might get a turnaround next week because we had that test of these lower prices, but they were eventually rejected by the market as buyers brought this back up. One other thing to note is we still have this 200-day moving average down here in pink that is still rising. And I would expect that that's where the market is going to find some really big support if we continue to sell off. We haven't seen that sell-off yet, but I think that 200-day moving average is a definite possibility where we might find support. The other areas where we might find some support is down here at this area where it coincides of this support and this resistance. It's clearly not a line in the sand, but it's a general area where we found support back here and also where we had some resistance back here in August. So this is an area where we clearly tested today, and it looks like this might hold a support. So that's something you want to note. Obviously, zooming into a shorter term time frame, let's see if we can switch to the 5-day moving average. Okay. Obviously, we want to see this 5-day moving average start to slope upwards before we can really trust trading on the long side. We can see that the 5-day moving average is still sloping down and price is trading below that. So we want to see the 5-day moving average start to slope out a little bit and have price get back above that, and then we can hold some more faith for our long-term trades. So next week's going to be really interesting. We could definitely see a pretty aggressive bounce back up from these areas. We just want to keep in mind where the 5-day is and how the market is going to react to the 5-day once we get back up to that area, because we could very well see the market retest that 5-day and then that 5-day moving average act as resistance and another pullback. So that's just something we want to keep in mind for trading next week. I want to go over some of the positions we had been watching. JAZZ was one of them, and you can see, just like the broad market, this one kind of just fell off the cliff, and we sold off pretty hard. I will note, though, that it looks like we've found some support on this active trend line right here, or this active support line. It's not anything to be really excited about, though. I wouldn't purchase this again. We really want to see that 5-day moving average start to slope out. So this one I'm probably going to take off the list, and I'm not going to watch this one next week. The next one I want to talk about was SBGI. SBGI we had talked about because of that really textbook cup and handle pattern that broke back early in the week, and we can see right here that we got a nice move after we had that break. But we did eventually pull back. And what's important to note is that instead of finding this level as support, we pulled back through that level. So this is a stock that I'm probably not going to watch either much for next week. So we'll just go ahead and delete that one too. The other one we had talked about was SCSS. SCSS was another one of these plays where it had made a really nice textbook cup and handle pattern. A nice break of that pattern, really, lots of buying on that day. Great 10% move we got out of this stock. But then, these last couple days it's pulled back. Now, this one it does seem to be finding some support at that breakout point on that cup and handle. So maybe next week we might see this one to continue to go up. I'm going to keep this one on my watch list. Before we trade it long, though, again, we want to see that 5-day moving average be overtaken. We're trading below that, so we want to see price pop above that 5-day before we get back into this stock. Next one we want to go over is WMB. I had mentioned WMB because, let's see if we can pull the chart up here. I had mentioned WMB because it was trading off of that trend line. Now you can see we did get a bounce early in the week, a couple days of buying here, but then this stock just completely crumbled, and it's pulled back through that trend line, and it's pulled back quite a bit. This is a stock that I'm not going to continue to watch. MGM, I've been waiting for this thing to break out of this nice long-term base here. Here's that resistance point. We'll go to a weekly chart. We can see this base developing. This one still needs some more time. It still needs a lot of work. I'm probably not going to focus on this one too much. I've got my price alert set for once it gets back up to this level. Once it does get back to this level, then I'm going to take a second look at trading this stock. Let's go over ALD. ALD was similar to MGM as it has a nice long-term base that I like to see, but needless to say, we did not get a break above that resistance line at about 430-ish. That was the top of that area, about 450. We didn't get a break. Instead, we got more of a pullback. This one, I still think it can be a big mover, but the setup is just not there yet. So you don't want to bother with this. Maybe, again, set a price alert for up in this area for when the stock does eventually trade up there, but this isn't something you want to concern yourself about. Next one we had talked about yesterday was VG. And VG, again, I had said it might be a good purchase above this 164, this black line right here. We clearly didn't get up to that area and we sold off. This is one that I'm not going to look at again. SOMX. SOMX was a really interesting play. I had said back over in here that if we'll zoom into a 15-minute time frame, I had said that if we could break past this area right here, then you'd want to purchase the stock. I had liked it because of how we were trading above the 5-day moving average here, and this was a nice consolidation pattern, and we had clearly had some large buying, and then the subsequent action after that rally was just some sideways action on low volume, so I really like to see that, and that was indicative of a possible future rally. We did get this rally, and we've been strong ever since, and we were strong today even in the face of broad market selling. So that's something to note. So we did get a good move off of this. Hopefully you guys took some profits. Another thing to point out, though, is while we had this rally, we had the rally on large volume, and then we had some sideways action on relatively, again, I'll say that relatively smaller volume. So when I say relatively, I mean the volume in comparison to the recent rally right here was small. Let's get a line up there. This high volume was relatively large compared to the consolidation period. And again, then we had a nice push up here, large volume, and then again, a nice low volume consolidation pattern. So these are just patterns you guys want to look for when we're looking for stocks this weekend for trading on Monday. It's something I'll keep in mind too. And then again, here we had the large volume on the push up. So hopefully you guys made some money from this play. This was definitely the better acting stock this week. Yeah, look for these patterns this week while you're scanning through your charts. These can be really profitable patterns. The next one I want to talk about is RF. I had mentioned RF because I had liked the long-term time frame, the long-term base, very similar to MGM and ALD. But again, this one did not break that resistance line, so it gave us no reason to purchase the stock. We're still trading above the, let's zoom into a shorter time frame. We're still trading below the 5-day moving average, and the 5-day moving average is sloping down. So we really want to see this one develop more before we even begin to think about trading it. I still think it needs to get above this area at about $7. So you can set your price alert for there, but I wouldn't concern yourself too much about this. Again, going back to the SPY, we can clearly see we had an interesting day, and I really hope it denotes that next week we'll get some more buying, but I'm just not too sure because we have the 200-day moving average. Let me pull up that chart. Because we have this 200-day moving average all the way down here, I still think we could still see more pullback. And I'm really not going to be convinced until we see that 5-day moving average slope out and begin to turn higher. One thing you want to note, though, is it looks like this 10-day moving average in black did kind of act as resistance. You can see we had popped above it earlier in the week, middle of the week, and it looked like, we were doing good. We were above the 5-day, we were above the 10-day, and maybe we could get some more buying. But clearly, the next day, we opened almost right on the dot on that 10-day moving average and sold off. So you guys you really want to keep these moving averages in your analysis, because price will react to them very specifically. And as you can see here, the second we opened below these moving averages and started to sell off, that was an indication to just get out of the way, move to the sidelines, move in cash, because a lot of selling was going to ensue, and sure enough, it did. But like I said, maybe today with this action, seeing this long wick down here, seeing this rejection of price at these levels on high volume, maybe we might see more buying next week. It's not a prediction. It's just it's a way to look at this action for today. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that and hope you guys have a good luck finding some stocks this weekend. I will be searching for more stocks as well, and I will get another video, maybe a couple videos up this weekend on some good picks for Monday. Otherwise, have a great weekend and enjoy yourselves.